In communication with Southern California, California 9 Public Affairs presents Teen Talk.
We hear the guns, we sense the fear, we feel the pain and torment of complete social upheaval. It is war, and around the world, even while peace seems to be breaking out, the unmistakable sound of war goes on. While television captures the great battles and conflicts of war, we seldom hear the voices of those caught in the middle, the children who grow up in a world where the new sunrise brings only fear, death, and hopelessness. I'm Joseph Feinstein, and today on Teen Talk we're joined by teenagers who have lived in this world of war and have come to America to seek refuge from the plague of their native countries. Welcome, panel. Welcome to Teen Talk. Let's please introduce yourselves to our audience and tell us your name and the country from which you're from. Paola?
My name is Paola Nahan. I'm 16 years old. I'm from Lebanon.
You're from Lebanon. Welcome. Welcome to the United States.
My name is Shalonda Baldwin. I'm 16 years old. I live in the U.S. and I'm representing the homeless.
And heaven knows, we did a show on the homeless, Shalonda, and there are so many teen homeless children that are out there around, and I'm glad that you're here representing them.
Thank you.
Yes.
My name is Wenji Myers. I'm 14 and I'm from the Onondaga Native American Nation.
Well, I've spent a lot of time teaching about Native Americans in my history classes, Wenji, and I too am very happy that you're here. You really were a child of war, I'm sure you know it. I'm sure you know it. Yes?
I'm Justina Jara, 17 years old from Namibia.
Namibia, that's in near South Africa?
It's north of South Africa.
North of South Africa?
Yeah, on the west coast.
And how long are you here in the United States now?
I've been here for 3 days.
3 days.
Yeah.
Well, welcome.
Thank
welcome.
you.
It's nice to see you.
My name is Gilberto Ramirez. I'm from Mexico, and I'm 19 years old.
Wonderful, wonderful. I'm glad to see you. What city did you grow up in Mexico?
I grew up in León, Guanajuato, Mexico.
Okay. We're glad to see you here.
North of Mexico City.
I think I'd like to start this morning, Shalonda, with you, and maybe just to help our audience understand who, I see you wearing your Children of War t-shirt,
Yes.
and maybe tell us a little bit about Children of War. What kind of an organization is it?
It's an organization where, see, people think wars are just the ones where you see the guns and the, bodies, but the war is all over the world. The war is even in the United States, and people don't seem to realize that. We see, living in the United States, and we're supposed to be one of the richest countries, we don't want to hear that something bad is going on in our country. We want to block those things out. Let everybody else have their wars, But we have a war here. We have it with drugs. We have it with homelessness. We have it with gang fights. We have a war here in the United States.
Oh, I know. When the program that we did with the homeless and with these young people that are out running, they've run away from their houses and so forth. Are you actually homeless yourself right now?
Yes.
How? How did that happen?
We had a fire in our house, and it burnt down our house, and we had no place to go. We had no family to turn to. So we went to EAU. EAU sent us to a shelter, and we stayed in the shelter for a month. Then we went to a TR2, and that is a place where it's a temporary apartment until you get your own apartment, and that's where we're staying at now.
I see. Well, the people that were on our program, the homeless that were here, were young people that ran away from their houses and are just fending for themselves, living in whatever place they can find on the streets. I'm so aware that you're a child of war too, aren't you? How do you become a child of war with the Onondagas?
We're fighting to keep our culture and our language within our people. And the government are trying to take our land away from us and a lot of stuff.
As far as I know, the government has succeeded in taking a lot of your land away from you and incorporating it into whatever way, in the same way that it's taken land away from a lot of other Native American tribes throughout the United States of America. Sometimes we paid back in terms of money, but sometimes we've also just put you on your reservation and keep you there and whatever. Let's turn to some of our other guests that are not from the United States and find out why does war continue in your homeland? What's going on in Lebanon, Paula?
Everyone wants to be the lord of this land.
Everybody wants to be lord of the land.
So they are fighting in the street.
Have you seen that fighting?
Yeah,
Have you been a part of that fighting?
yeah.
We're going to talk about in what ways in a little bit. I want to discuss that with you a little bit too. What war have you seen in Namibia? Why does Justina? Why does the war go on in Namibia?
The war in Namibia is going on because South Africa has been fighting for Namibia because of its minerals.
Oh, what minerals do they have there?
We have copper, we have diamonds, lots of diamonds, and there's a lot of fish. Right now, South Africa is claiming a harbor in Namibia, saying it's theirs. So we still have to fight for that harbor.
It's incredible. I mean, you know, that's part of the story of America too. Is always the story of gold, and diamonds and whatever else they can find. People, we had a portion of our history. We discussed the robber barons. These are the people who took a lot of the control of our country, just like everybody wants to be a landlord in your country. In Lebanon, they wanted to be this. There's always, in every part of the world, there are those people that want to take from those that don't have. And what about for you, Gilbert? What's going on in Mexico?
Well, in Mexico, it's life is very difficult for the people because we have so-called freedom, but you know we don't have no money. We have our government and it's been there for over 60 years, and this is kind of a dictatorship, and I hope this change. And I came here representing my country and the struggle of the Mexicans to get food.
You don't have enough food there?
No, we don't. We are having, you know, most of the people earn the minimum wage in Mexico. And what Americans go to Mexico and see all these beautiful places, but they don't realize that there's a lot of.
Well, okay, we're going to try and come back to further realization in just a moment. For most of us in America, we'll never know that firsthand experience of being caught in war. When we come back, I want to talk with our guests about how they came into contact with war face to face. Please stay with us. Childhood should be a time for having fun, enjoying your family, and doing all those things that are a part of a normal youth. But for our children of war here today, their early years were anything but normal. Tell me, panel, in what ways did you experience war in your homeland, and what happened to you? What happened to you, Paula?
The war began in 1974, 1 year after my birthday. So there was a war in Beirut. So we left Beirut to the beautiful village where we have spent a few years in peace. Then there was a war between the Christians and the Druze.
Right.
So they have killed all the Christians near our village, and between them my grandmother. So we were very afraid, and we left the mountain and we have came back to Beirut.
How old were you when your grandma died?
7.
7. Do you remember Grandma?
Yeah,
How did she die?
they have killed her.
They just killed her?
Yeah.
And was anybody there? Did anybody see this happen that you know?
No, because there was a war in this time between the Syrian and the Lebanese army, so we were in the shelter. So
Did your father fight in the war? Was he brought into the war, or your mother, or anybody like that?
no.
No. Did you ever see, were you part of the battle? Did you see battles and
Yeah.
wars going on? What was that like for you?
You see people are fighting
Yes.
with guns, and you see dead bodies on the floor, blood.
What happens to you when you see that kind of thing? And you're, what, 10 years old? 12
Yeah.
years old?
8 years old.
8 years old? What happens?
I was very scared.
You were very scared.
Yeah.
God, it has to be the scariest thing in the whole world. And you must think that, when is my turn? Is this going to happen to me?
Yeah.
Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah, I think, oh my, that's for everybody. Will
Really, really. Justina, tell me about the time in Namibia. What happened there?
The war in Namibia started long ago, even before my father was born. And when I was born in a world of war. I didn't know what it is like to live in a world of peace. It's just guns going on and off. Every day you hear that somebody's dead. First I used to get shocked, but later I got used to it, because it's just like a natural thing. Every time you open the TV or radio, you hear that a bomb blast had blasted somewhere. Somebody was killed. And because of that, lots of people started going out of the country because the situation was so bad. And my two brothers left. They went in Angola, and one of them died there.
Oh,
Yes.
God, I'm sorry. I'm very sorry. It must be a horrible thing to wake up with that kind of feeling. You're in America now, and we haven't seen war in America since our Civil War 130 years ago. And may we all never see war. What is it like for you as you travel around? How many days have you been here now?
I've been in here in LA for 3 days.
3 days.
And in New York I was there for 2 days.
2 days.
So in USA I've been there for 6 or 5 days.
What does it feel like? What do you see? What's your impression of the United States?
It's so great, to see people living in peace. They can walk about at night. In my country, after it gets dark, you're not allowed to get out. There's a night curfew, airplane traveling about, and if it sees you, it just shoots.
Really?
Yes.
The plane travels around, and
Yeah.
anybody that's out after curfew, it
just shoots.
they just shoot the plane.
Yeah. Well, it was, because now the situation has changed. Because even today, while I'm here, people back in Namibia are celebrating their first independence today.
Oh yes, today is First Independence Day of
Yes.
Namibia. That's wonderful. That's so wonderful. You must be very proud.
Yes, I'm very, very proud.
Well, let's pray for peace in your country, and in your country, and in your country, and for all of us all over the world. That's really important. She hasn't seen the homeless. Shalonda, tell me what it's like to be homeless.
It's a real terrible feeling.
Why?
To be homeless without a home, when you go home, when you come from school and you go to a place, it's really not yours. You don't have that home feeling. You don't have where you just can lounge on the bed and just be there, because you're around all these different kind of people. And you said to her that we haven't had war for 130 years here in the U.S., but we are having war. I stay around in a drug-infested area, and then we also have homeless people. In a war, you try to survive, and that's exactly what those people are doing. You find most of the guys that are selling drugs out there, they're homeless guys. They're guys that's trying to survive, and they're doing it by giving drugs to other children, parents, and destroying their homes, destroying what is going on in their lives. but those guys are just trying to survive because they're homeless too, you know. And it is a war we're having here.
One of the dearest and sweetest things that's happened to me during my lifetime of teaching and counseling and now doing this program is my realization of how much I learn from people like all of you. You are really helping me understand something that's really important. For our panel members, most of their young lives were spent experiencing the horrors of war. When we come back, I want to find out how this has affected their lives and their opinions on whether or not war can ever be finally ended. Please stay with us and come back with us. Thanks. One youngster summed up her experiences by saying, "There cannot be good soldiers and bad soldiers. They're all the same." How do you feel about soldiers, bombs, and war? Is it something that we're always going to have to live with, panel? Gilbert, is it?
Well, it seems likely, but we as young people can do a lot. You know, we're still young people, and we are gonna. This is what Children of War is all about.
Yes.
We're trying to reach young people, young leaders that in the future they might become presidents, or we don't know.
I think that some of it has to do with how you get your mind set.
Yes.
And if your mind can get set on not being so greedy as what you were talking about and what you were talking about, and if everybody would just share a little bit, and if everybody would get into their brain that we don't have to kill and we shouldn't kill, that it's against the very laws of what we're about, maybe if we can get that idea across to young people, maybe as they grow older, the whole idea of war will not exist. You haven't seen war per se, but you have been a part of a people who have really been prejudiced against the Onondaga Native American people. What do you feel? You're 14 years old. What goes on inside of you about your people and about what's happened to them?
I feel like there's a lot of trouble going on between the government and my people because they're trying to take our land away from us and our culture and our language from us, and we're fighting for the land.
Okay, so now I'm President Bush. I'm not Joseph anymore. Now I'm President Bush, and you are sitting next to me and you are talking to me as the President of the United States. What would you like to tell me?
If you could help us try and get back our land as much as we can and try and help us with a lot of the resources and stuff.
I will do, no, that's not, no, okay. But yeah, I would like to give you back your land, but some of it has been taken. Well, how can I give you land that doesn't exist anymore? There's a new development on there. There's houses and stores on there. That's what we used your land for.
Like, you could give us more land around where, like, we could use stuff.
Yeah, we have not been very good to all of our Native American tribes. We can do a lot more to make something like that change a little bit. Do any of you have dreams about and nightmares about war? Do any of you think about war in that way? Paola, do you have nightmares at all? Do you dream about war?
Yeah.
You do?
Yesterday I had a dream that my house is burning.
You did have that dream?
Yeah.
And what goes on? Did you wake up from that dream? Were you upset?
Yeah. No, I'm upset because I don't know what's happening now in my country.
You don't know?
No, there is a war maybe.
How long have you been away? How long have you been here in the United States now?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Are you going back there, or are you going to be staying here in the
No,
United
I'm
States?
going back.
You're going back. Well, I hope that there's no war back there for you. I hope that not that. Would you like to stay here in America?
No, there's no other place like sweet home, sweet home, sweet home. Whether there's a war going on, however bad your country is, that's your home. Wherever you go, you'll always be thinking of home, where you were born.
You're right. You're really right. We'll be back with some final thoughts in just a moment. It would be nearly impossible to find a period in our history in which war was not being waged somewhere on the earth. Perhaps conflict between people is an inherent trait of mankind. Perhaps armed struggle is so inbred into a culture that generation after generation considers it a normal part of life. Whatever the reason, warfare has become acceptable to many nations for resolving disputes. But what is not acceptable is the fact that children are being caught up in this carnage. Young lives that may never know the joy of family, of play, or of their first love. If military strongmen or congressional leaders could consider the innocent lives they change forever, perhaps they would not be so quick to go to battle. If you'd like to find out more about the group that was represented here today, Children of War, call them at 213-891-1213. For Teen Talk, this is Joseph Feinstein wishing you and our panel shalom, the blessing of peace for all of us, always.